Hey guys, we are back. We are working on chapter 3 still. Sorry, long break. Taking risks. Forming new patterns in the brain means taking risks and doing things we aren't sure we can do. Maybe we don't do them very well at first, but we can learn. Our brains can learn. Every new thing requires practice so that we can do it better the next time. And that is true. They say practice makes perfect. Some things might be easier for others than, like, certain skills might be easier for others than a different skill, but that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're not wrong for practicing, right? If you really want to do it, you will practice and you'll get there. Continuing on, notice a 1-year-old toddling across the floor. He is learning how to walk. No one fears that he will be toddling at 20, 30, or 40-year-old. Unless they're drunk. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. I need some laughter there. I just needed some laughter there. Anyway, he will learn how to walk and walk well. Our brains are very pliable. They learn, but they can't learn if we don't try. That may mean overcoming some ancient belief that we have that we can't or we shouldn't, and just do. Britain has an acronym for the word risk. R, release your attachment to the outcome. I, invest fully in your intention. S, stand for the truth. K, keep kindness a priority. These are all good things to strive for. Keeping these ideas in mind can help us overcome some of the old ways of dealing with life's challenges. They are not easy to achieve, but it is important to begin. Do little things at first. Deal with your fear of being different by telling a friend who your favorite author is without knowing what kind of literature they like. You will find out that the world doesn't end when you take a bold step out of the chameleon role. Your friend may disagree with you, but that doesn't mean he doesn't like you. It doesn't mean that they don't like you. It doesn't mean that they are rejecting you. It just means that they have a different taste in literature. How do Britain's ideas apply? What were you expecting as an outcome of your declaration? Did you expect the other person to agree with you, or simply learn something about you? What was your intention? Are you being honest about it? Can you stand up for your choice, even if the friend doesn't agree? Is it your truth? If they don't agree, can you accept their difference with kindness, allowing for the differences between you? By taking this step, you are allowing someone to know you better. It may be a risk, but it is one worth taking. Now, if the person becomes abusive, tells you that you are crazy or stupid or a jerk for liking your favorite author, you can be assertive, not abusive, and say that you are sorry they feel that way, but everyone has their own tastes in literature as well as ice cream, and that it is not a federal offense. Whatever you do, don't take it personally, but realize that people who get offensive when they are not agreed with are insecure, not right. That includes you. Okay, so I want to take a moment for that, right? There is a big difference in liking or not liking something, right? And yes, we can absolutely take it to, if you don't agree with a certain I'm going to use some intersectionality here. If you don't agree with someone's lifestyle, for example, and I hate the word lifestyle for this. If you don't agree with, they call it a lifestyle, right? Of the LGBTQ, that is a human rights, right? That is completely different. And I want to make that clear. That is not a lifestyle. That is who they are. They are born that way. When you violate or you believe in something that violates a human rights, right? That is problematic, right? That is part of bigotry. And I would suggest that you separate yourself from those people, right? Okay. But if we're talking like ice cream or things on pizza or literature, and I can go a little bit into the literature part, but for example, actually, let me do that. For example, right, we have problematic authors, J.K. Rowling being one of them. And this will go back to the LGBTQ. When you support people, companies, beliefs, and all that, like I said, violate human rights, that make people less than, that is the problem. So when you are supporting an author, right, and say, like I said, it's J.K. Rowling, knowing what she did, still giving into giving her money, that is a problem, right? But if it's just like, let's say, like one person likes romance books versus someone who likes nonfiction versus someone who likes sci-fi, right? Or horror even. That doesn't mean that you can't still be friends. That's okay. Or ice cream, right? My cousin and I, growing up, we had this thing where she loved vanilla ice cream and I loved chocolate. But we were very close, right? That doesn't mean that our likes or our interests weren't taking away from each other, right? We just joked about it. You know, I was chocolate, she was vanilla. It just became a joke. Or, like, the pineapple on pizza debate, right? A lot of people don't like pineapple on pizza. That's their preference. That's okay. There's a lot of people that do like pineapple on pizza. I'm kind of in the in-between boat. I don't particularly care. I'll eat it if it has pineapple. I won't eat it if it has ham, but that's just my personal thing, right? But if it's pineapple and like chicken, I'm okay with it, right? As long as it's well balanced, there shouldn't be a problem. You could even just take off the toppings. It's not that hard to do, right? And that's going to pizza. That's I hope I'm being clear that just because someone, actually, let me give you another example before we end this. So like I was talking to my son the other night and he was talking about how he wanted to make friends. And he wanted to find a friend that plays all of the same games that he does on his gaming device. And I get it. You want that friend that has like all of the same interests. I have those friends. They're rare, but they do happen. That doesn't mean we agree on everything, right? In fact, she's a fellow adoptee. We don't have the same views, and that's okay. That doesn't mean our friendship is less than. But what I was telling him was that you can find friends that play at least one of the same games, right? That would make sense. Or maybe just a couple, right? You don't have to have a friend that plays every single game you play, because that's a very unrealistic point of view. And you could be born a twin and have two very separate likes and interests, right? That happens. That doesn't mean that you're not still a twin, right? Doesn't mean that you can't still get along or, have at least one thing in common. They do, right? Probably more than one thing in common, but you guys get the point. Even though they're two very separate personalities, you're allowed to have your likes and dislikes, right? And that's okay. Again, as long as it doesn't infringe on human rights, I don't see the problem, But that's just a boundary I have. Not everyone agrees, and that's okay too. But a lot of people that agree with that boundary, right, are usually in those intersectional groups, right, who are part of minority groups. So they kind of understand better. Not always, but usually. Anyway, I will see you guys next time for the next reading, which will be The Fear of Change.